Forward TV. The world is thinking.
Well, let's be clear for a moment here. When we talk about religion, and I'm talking about all religions, we are not talking about personal confessions of faith. Rarely is that what we mean when we say, I am a Christian, I am a Jew, I am a Muslim, I'm a Hindu, or whatever. Think about this. The United States is 78% Christian. Now, think about that for a moment. Do you really think that 78% of Americans go to church on Sunday? Do you think that 78% of Americans read the Bible on a regular basis? Do you think that 78% of Americans can tell you anything about the gospel story at all? Of course not. The phrase, I am a Christian in this country has become synonymous with I am American. The cross and the flag have bled into a single icon. That's how it is everywhere in the world. When you make a statement of faith, you are making a statement that is about your identity. It encompasses your ethnicity, your culture, your nationality, the way you understand the world. And so that's not unique by any means to Islam in America or Islam anywhere else. But if I can get academic for a moment here, I do think that it's important to recognize that, as I mentioned earlier, as nationalism begins to give way to other forms of collective identity. And this is happening already all across the world. We're a little bit late to it in the United States. I always sort of say that we'll be the last nation standing. And primarily that has to do with our history, but it also has to do with the fact that we're an island in the middle of, an ocean here in some ways. And so in much of the world, as religion or ethnicity or tribe or kinship begin to replace nationality as your primary marker of identity, your sense of collective, your sense of society is going to change. It's going to expand because it's no longer limited by geographic borders. And that's been happening primarily throughout Europe. You're seeing the European Union start to really struggle with trying to figure out a way at how do you construct a national identity when your birth certificate says European Union, when you have a single currency, a single passport, a single parliament, a single constitution, 27 nations. How do you construct a distinctly Danish identity in the midst of that? Or does your sense of who you are expand beyond Denmark? And do you think of yourself primarily as European first and Danish second? In the Middle East, you're seeing this a lot with people trying to figure out, should I define myself as culturally Arab or nationally Egyptian or religiously Muslim? So, and again, thanks to the internet, we have the ability to create all these micro-communities that have no boundaries and no limitations whatsoever. The reason that the 99 has worked so well is because you have 99 superheroes of different ethnicities, different nationalities, different religions, who are coming together to save the entire planet. So if you're Egyptian, or if you're Indonesian, or if you're Malaysian, or if you're South African, or if you're from Detroit, you can relate to this because this is, if you're under 30, this is the world you live in anyway. Sorry about you over 30s. A world without borders. A world in which your identity is no longer constrained by territory. That's what's happening to Islam. It's what's happening to most religions. And sooner or later, it's going to be what's happening in the United States as well.
Another question from the audience. In your book, No God But God, you stated, as I recall, that the Quran was never meant to be read as an isolated text, but part of a cohesive whole. In other words, informed by a reading of the former books, like the Torah and so forth. What needs to happen, do you suppose, before more Muslims begin to read the Quran in this way? Or do majority of Muslims read the Quran that way anyway?
Yes, the Quran itself constantly says, over and over again, that this is not a new message. This is the same message that was given to the Jews in the Torah, that was given to the Christians in the Gospels, that their God and your God are the same, that their scriptures are and your scriptures are the same. The Quran sees itself as a continuation of a prophetic tradition that actually starts with Adam, the first human being, and goes straight to Muhammad, the seal of the prophets. So nothing comes after. Which, of course, whenever you're last, you think you're the end. Nothing comes after, but everything that came before is part of the same narrative. And indeed, there is a conception in the Quran called al-Kitab, the mother of books, that says that the Quran itself is just simply one part of a larger divine text in heaven from which all revealed scriptures come. So that connectivity, I think, is very important in understanding the Quran. Why don't more Muslims think that way? Well, there's a very simple reason for this. It's that the same rigorous exegetical work that occurred in the late 19th and early 20th centuries about the Bible, and these are sort of some of my academic heroes who did this work, is totally brand new with the Quran. My cohort, my PhD program, we were amongst the first to take a rigorous historical, contextual, exegetical approach to the Quran as a piece of literature to be dissected and understood, which is what happened with the Torah, the Hebrew Bible, and certainly with the New Testament over the last century. We are borrowing those tools to create a new understanding of the Quran. So it's a very new process. It's a process that's just sort of getting going. Primarily, it's getting going, of course, in the West. But I think that it will trickle down to the rest of the Muslim world. But it's one that doesn't have a lot of tradition behind it just yet. Very few Muslims think of the Quran as both a historical work and a holy text, whereas you do get that amongst many Jews and Christians. You can be someone who believes that the Gospels are the inerrant, literal word of God, and also a historical text to be studied at a university.